pounds. So Sheriff's is 20 for me. Good job.
All right, Chair, floor is yours. And we are good to go and live.
All right, I'm gonna call to order. Call order the meeting of the City of Porterville Charter Review Committee, June 19th, 2025, 5:30. Some perfunctory announcements. We were double booked on the other locations, so we put a notice on the door that we would be moving the event over here, but in the interest of caution, we're going to discuss a little bit, but we're not going to take any actions tonight so that we would potentially be run afoul of Brown Act violations. And so I'll probably just make it short and sweet because, again, I guess anything could be construed as a Brown Act violation if you're not supposed to be here. Are we going to hand out any of the stuff, Fernando? We read it, or we read it not? We read it not.
So I mean, again, it's up to the like the chair had said, that we did notice the moving of the location at the location that it was previously at. So as far as action goes, we can limit ourselves. We could even push some of these items over to the next meeting, if we need to. I know there's still probably some stuff.
Did you already send some of these items to these?
I have not, no. No, so what I was doing was waiting for tonight to go ahead and, because it wasn't in the agenda packet, so I was waiting for us to introduce the item today.
Right.
To give out any of the documentation, so I have not done so yet.
Okay. So conceivably tomorrow or Monday, you could actually send them out in anticipation of the next agenda meeting, correct? Give us a month to look at, just the information.
Correct.
Maybe that's the best how to handle it. Maybe what we do tonight is just say, hey, we're here, but because of Brown Act violations, we just adjourn the meeting. And then that'll give us, it looks like, and then I think we're gonna have to have another meeting or.
Correct. So what we could do as well is go ahead and schedule a future meeting to a near date.
But that would take action, wouldn't require action. See, that's kind of the catch-22.
Well, we can adjourn to a new date if needed.
Okay.
Because of, in light of today's issues. And
Well,
then
in
when,
fairness, people didn't know, so that even it being a block away and a sign on the window, that doesn't.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
72 hours before the meeting. We literally found out 15 minutes ago. Again, other than inconvenience to four of us, which didn't inconvenience me that bad. Really, I don't think it's not gonna hurt us anything that's my point is we can get this stuff that we're gonna get tonight, tomorrow. It just gives us more time to peruse the stuff that we're gonna peruse. And then we can feel like, that we really didn't waste a lot of time because we were able to still look at it fairly.
Well, we're coming back next month. We're not adding a new date, are we?
It looks like on here we have it for July 17th.
that's up to the members of the committee.
Right, but we're not taking any action, but do I have to take motion to adjourn a meeting?
You don't have to motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. Have we, the items that are going to be sent out, have we received something from every council member?
This is what we've received. We received, and again,
Should we talk about this here or should we adjourn it?
I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's
Again, we're not going to take any action, so,
Okay.
I would consider it. Committee member Dignam. The short answer is I had received, we received exact communications from 4 of the 5 city councilmen. Some of it we received a while back. I think you've probably seen some of it and I've seen some of it too. I think Scott had, we received something, but Scott had, do you have any other information?
I haven't been able to dig it up.
Oh, you have
I
that?
can find it, but I'm dug it up.
Yeah, so my feeling is this is all we're gonna get. And I'm good with it because there's more than enough. I counted, was it 30 items? What do you think roughly?
I didn't count any of the items, but I would say that's a rough estimate.
About 30. So my point is, and I think we're talking 5 or 6.
And some of them could be overlapping as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
30 could go into 15 easily, but it just.
Well, it's gonna get distilled down to 6
Yeah.
anyway. So really all we're gonna do next, and this is my plan for the next meeting, and I was gonna do it this meeting, is we're gonna look at the 30 items. If you guys want to, it's up to you. I was gonna assign everybody 5, and I said, listen, there's a format here that we observed from the last charter review thing, and the format's pretty simple. I just ask, should the charter of the city of Floral be amended to allow for blah, 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 blah. So my plan was gonna be tonight was you get 5, and if it's saying, elect the dog catcher, then you're gonna just write the sentence up, and in the last blah, blah, blah is gonna be elect the dog catcher. And then once we get all those 31s in a kind of a cohesive, similar form, we are then going to send it to the council and have them shortlisted for us, you know what I mean? And then if they still want us to proceed, then we can talk about, okay, what do you want us to put in here? Because there's a sentence, and that just kind of does a broad overview. And then there's what we call the argument. We don't write code. I don't know if it's really in our purview, but if they want us to try and you guys are willing, we can say, hey, the intent of this is this, and I'm sure it'll get polished by a professional once we're done. It's a matter of how much they want us to do and how ambitious you guys feel. I mean, if they have maybe got any questions, or Mr. Dignam, did I answer that good enough for you? Could you even hear me?
Yeah, that was sufficient. I just was trying to get an understanding. So, because I've been getting some emails throughout the day and haven't reviewed all of them. So
I think I sent you some actually. And
Yeah.
so what happens is we're getting them piecemeal. And some councilmen, they're busy, or they feel like the other ones, they have to, I don't know what they're thinking, but the reality of it is I think they're satisfied with what the other councilmen are supplying, I'm guessing. And again, there's nothing from my perspective. If they wanted to, I think I thought of something else. I'm gonna put it for your next agenda item. I'm open to it until we deliver them to the council. If they're late, tardy, there's no penalty for not having them done, and which gives us less time to deal with them. But I guess initially, it's really just more of a cleanup thing for making it, again, understandable. And then again, they'll decide which ones they want us to take more time, to dissect or whatever. So
yeah, I agree with that. Waiting for them to basically prioritize them for us now that all of them are there. So
right. Mr. O'Sullivan, Councilmember O'Sullivan, you got any questions?
No questions. Do we even have a quorum tonight?
Barely.
Okay.
Barely. I think Alex sent us an email, and he pointed out wisely that there was a potential for a boundary violation because we didn't put the actual location on the notice, and he's not here, so I suspect he didn't want to be put in boundary violation. You know what I mean? So, and I'm okay with that because luckily we got 4 here, and that made it. And so I'm gonna ask everybody else if they got a question. I'm probably just gonna adjourn it. Just so
I do have
No
a
questions on my
suggestion
part.
that I just thought about.
I'm sorry, Mr. O'Sullivan, say that again.
No questions on my part.
So to your question about the documentation, I do not believe we can give it out tomorrow. And the reason for that is because if we're gonna agendize it for the next meeting, we need to be able to give it out to the public at the same time that the board gets it as well.
All right, it's not a deal breaker. I just feel bad about getting everybody down here
Yeah.
and then not having nothing to do and everybody to zoom in and have nothing.
Well, what we could do is we can definitely set the meeting out way in advance, like let's say.
We're gonna send it to this next month, is what
No, yeah, so the next meeting that we have scheduled is for what, July 17th?
Mhm.
So the agenda could actually go out.
Yeah, when you get time, you can get it out in a week and just,
I mean, I figured a week before, so that week before, maybe on a Wednesday.
again, if you get not that you ever have, if you have a slow, because there's no penalty for putting it out. It has to be no sooner than 72 hours, but it can be far.
Yeah, no, yeah. I just want to make sure that if we are waiting on any other items from as well from other council members, then we can actually.
I don't think we are.
We think this is gonna be it.
I would rather you got it, but I got it, you're busy. But if you get a slow period next week and you're like, I want to slam it out real quick, that's fine. If you want to get it out early, great. If you don't want to get it out, I completely understand. You get it out early, then you can not worry about it. And regardless of what happens, if someone contacts me, 72 hours before the meeting and wants to put something there, I'm going to allow them to do it. And if they want me to wait another month before I go to the council, I'm going to let them do that. My feeling, honestly, I talked to the council and I talked to the mayor. I think we pretty much got what they want. You know what I mean? I don't anticipate anything new coming in there.
So let me ask this question.
All right, well, okay, let me finish for now to answer your question.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that whenever we do send out the information to the members of the committee, that we're also sending out the agenda for the next meeting and on all the items on there. Prematurely doing that and just sending it over to you guys without the public having.
No, I'm okay with you.
Okay, all right, all
It's
right.
gonna pretty much be this agenda.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same theme. We're just basically gonna be adjourning to a different date. So-
And you're gonna put, and this is just gonna have some ancillary information. That's great. And now I was gonna, what do you say? What do you got? Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, in hearing what you're proposing is to give us more time. A week before getting that information, it's not gonna give us more.
And
time.
that's what I was kind of getting at.
Can we get, how soon can we get this after this meeting?
However soon you want it.
I propose tomorrow.
I don't, yeah, I
No,
don't.
but he's busy. So I'm just saying, if you can get it out,
Yeah,
you're right, he's right. 72 hours is kind of tough.
Mhm.
So, but if you could get out a week before the meeting, if you can squeeze it in, because again, basically what it's gonna be is this thing with the date
yeah, it's
change
gonna be.
and the documents attached to it and send it out.
But you're sending out a list of 30 items and you want to get, and is there some of these items, do they need to go to the council? Do they need to go on a ballot or they just, no, there's no ballot in this.
So these are just like, these are proposed ideas.
Rough draft.
Rough draft items. They're not gonna be like in-depth analysis of everything. This gives you guys like the foundation of what to work with and how to like get.
Is there a deadline you want this done by?
Well, the council wants it done. I mean, we're not critical. They want it done fast because they need to get it
Okay,
ahead of time. So but it's not, but when I say fast, it's not a crisis. We're a year and a half away from an election. But I would rather get it done and get it to them and let them work
what
on
is
it.
that, as a chairman, what is that? When do you want this done? When do you see this done?
Oh, 3 months,
Okay, so
3
3
meetings.
months,
3 meetings.
3 meetings.
Mhm.
So that's why if you give me, I mean, this is to speak for myself, if you give me a list of 30 items.
But no, I think what you're interested in, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a suggestion. City manager must live in town. So all I'm asking you to do is write me a sentence that says, should the charter of the city of Porterville be amended to allow for the ability of the city manager to live without the city limits? That's all I
Okay.
need from you. And I need 5 of them. That's all I need.
At the next meeting, if all goes well, and we get this list a week before, you're gonna assign what you're,
I'm not gonna let anybody, whoever doesn't want to participate doesn't have to.
and then we'll go to the next meeting and we'll come back with this.
Exactly. And then what happens, and then we're gonna approve that. So this is one meeting. The second meeting, you're gonna get the information. The third
I
meeting
just
is,
want to make sure we all have enough time to do what we need to do to support this committee to continue.
no, I get it. The third meeting is they're gonna be approved and we're gonna vote to send it to council.
Got it.
Now, after that, they may adjourn us and we're done.
Got it.
Or they might say, listen, these are the 5 we got. Can you flesh it out a little bit more? Elaborate, Mr. Salah, about the city limits. Well, you see what I'm saying? This is and so at least initially, there's not a lot of work. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to do 30 items and have them shoot down 25 and then we got to spend a bunch of time.
So is it
Wait,
possible,
Scott, yeah, go ahead, Scott.
is it possible to reschedule tonight's meeting sometime next week where we can get this information out to everybody and just, instead of waiting 1 week before July, where we kill another 3 weeks, can we just schedule
It's a matter of how
another
much
meeting?
time,
No,
Fernando.
no, whatever you guys want to do, we can.
That way we can get it out to us, we can get it out to the public, and then just get on it.
So.
Well, that's at least 2 weeks. What do you think, Tom? What do you think?
I mean, it's all about creating a new date that none of us were prepared for, so. Again,
Yeah,
I am not here next week. I am out of state.
that's why I'm looking at my
Okay,
schedule.
then what, Scott's gonna do, I'm open anytime, why don't you guys, now what's gonna happen is the other 5 guys, well, we got 2 of them here. The other 5 guys are gonna like, hey, why do you schedule it for this? We weren't there.
What day next week are we talking? Because it's a
Well, Don
council,
can't be here next week.
council
Yeah,
Thursday.
I'll be out of state, so I won't be able
Well,
to physically be here.
June, so this is June 19th, you're talking about the 20.
Let's start, since everybody, Tom, what day can't you be here? What days aren't good for you?
Oh, I started off with a question. Thursday night's not an option for us. It's a council meeting Thursday, correct?
Tuesday.
Working on the agenda.
Tuesday, or is there a special meeting?
There's a special meeting
Oh.
on.
See, look at Tom, we shouldn't have asked him.
No, staff works on the agenda on the Thursday before the
I
council.
wouldn't use that as we're fine.
So what
You hear
days
that?
what days are we talking about? I have a conflict, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So I
Next
could,
week.
yeah, I could do Monday, Tuesday of next week.
That'd be way too early.
Yeah, Don, yeah, he
You have to
can't.
repost it. 72
Yeah,
hours.
we're not gonna go 72 hours plus Don's out. How long are you out, Don?
I'll be back on the evening of the 1st, which is a Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it
So-
sounds like we're gonna push it out till next month, Tomo. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there anything, I mean, I don't wanna do it the night before the 4th, but is there anything Wednesday the 2nd?
I'm looking at the 6th, 7th and 8th at this point.
Of July. Ooh,
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
And it was just a suggestion, is that something we can do? If we can't do it, then
That's Friday. I mean, that's, yeah, so Monday or Tuesday. Yeah.
So what's good for you?
Next week I can do something next week.
Don, do you mind if we have one without you? I'm gonna be,
Dial in.
Hurt?
You dial in, right?
I'll cry, but I'll, no, if, depending on where I'm at in my travels,
Yeah, you
I
can
can zoom in.
Yeah.
So,
Tomo, what's good for you next week?
We can't do Friday, Thursday, Friday, I think you said, right?
Yeah, Thursday, sorry, well, we can't, staff can't do Thursday. I'll be
Yes, they
on,
can, he said.
I'll be on the
He's
road Wednesday. I could zoom in on Friday. I have a late meeting out of town, so I could zoom in on Friday.
Well, I doesn't do any good for you to zoom in because we need you to be able.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
When can you
not
vote again?
available, Just,
They're available.
yeah, they were available.
So, Tom, are you available Thursday?
No, here's the whole point. It doesn't matter if he zooms in, doesn't do any good. He either has
I
to
know,
be.
but is he available here on
No,
Thursday?
I am not available Thursday
Got
either.
it, got it.
When are you next available in the flesh?
The following week.
That's fine. Well, so what day?
what's
I
the
think
3rd
that-
look like for him?
How about the 3rd?
Yeah.
Before the,
I'm flexible on the 3rd, yes.
now Alex is gonna be available on the 3rd because he's going on vacation, but that's okay. I'll trade Alex and for Don and Tom. Are you?
You'll be here the 3rd. Yeah, I won't be here the 3rd. It's okay.
You're killing me, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why we have all these alternates for. I can zoom in and just listen and
I'm still gonna wait and sign you
Okay.
some.
that's fine. That's fine.
Can I sign you
You
some?
can sign me whatever you want. Whether I'm here or not, I'm willing to put the work in.
Yeah, that's what, we can do it and move it forward and then I can send it
Yeah,
to you and then you can do
yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Does that work, Fernando, for you, Fernando?
Yeah,
You gotta get the, figure
I
out.
don't think we have.
You have 4, yeah.
We'll have 4.
Okay.
But I want everybody that wants to be part of it to be part of it. If you don't wanna, you don't have to, but it's kind of fun. You're gonna divide a sentence. It's easy. It's not gonna, it should be pretty easy work. All right,
So
so
we're moving it to
5:30?
Thursday the 3rd, Mr. Chairman?
that's, so far so good. Let me ask Clayton. Mr. Dignam, can you, how are you on the 3rd?
I'm good.
All right, then, yeah, sounds like the 3rd. What time's good? 5:30?
That works.
6:30? Huh?
5:30 works for me.
5:30 works.
You're doing fine, buddy. No, we just got volunteers.
Traffic gets you, man.
You just got volunteers. Let's bring up, I'm gonna bring a council member or committee member, Grace up to speed. Okay, thank you for pointing out, that Brown Act, digital bound violation. So we have determined to err on the side of, being, more compliant and that we're not gonna take any action tonight.
Okay.
We're gonna schedule a meeting for the 33rd, which you're gonna be gone,
Yeah,
which is okay.
which is good for the alternates, which are.
Who aren't here.
Right, so Todd's gone too, Tom can make it, Clayton can make it, Don's gonna be here, so we'll have enough.
Yeah.
And my plan, huh? And Scott's always here,
Yeah.
so Scott's
Will you
solid,
be here on the 3rd?
yeah.
Or will you be commuting all the way to?
No, I'm not gonna be commuting, but yeah, I'll be here.
Already good. Busy
I
day.
had to open my mouth. I'll be here.
I think they like.
Bring the cake.
And remember, you can I think you can just, I mean, if you guys are in a remote place, as long as you're accessible to the public.
But we can't vote, I need them to
But if
vote.
he wants us.
But here's-
to vote, he has to be here.
Well, they have to, we have to agendize their location if that.
Yes, right.
Yeah, then
Right,
we'll just,
there it is.
we'll just announce where we're at. Why not?
No, we'll look at it.
Quorum still has to be at the meeting.
Yeah, there has to be a physical.
He's gonna be
Send me my location, you can agendize that shit. I'm gonna be there across that.
Pacific Ocean, so unless you're gonna agendize.
I should have just
Pacific
not
Ocean-
said anything. And
Yeah, I had somebody want to do that for a plane ride. I was like, that's.
Pacific
Yeah,
Ocean.
you better go to latitude. What we're gonna do, and I'm gonna get you up to speed. The plan is this. We've got 30-ish kind of suggestions. I'm gonna assign or let guys get like 5 of them, and I'm just gonna have write me a sentence that says this, and then we're gonna bring that back, put it in the form, send it to council at the next meeting, have them shortlist it for us. At that point, we're done. If they want us to then flesh it out farther, then that'll be up to them. So that's my plan. You don't mind doing 5? You think you can handle 5 sentences?
Are there enough to give everyone 5?
If not, I will gladly send her my.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey,
Well, I mean, there's what, 7 of us?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Well, 9 technically, but there are 2 alternate.
4 or 5.
Okay, 4 or 5. So it's, and they're just a very short sentence. They'll start with the same thing.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then, like I said, then that'll be the next meeting, and then, we'll take it to council after the next meeting, and then, like I said, if they shortlist it, great, and then if they want us to do more, then we're good. So to recap here, 3rd of July, 5:30, is that what we agree on?
We're at here or over there. I like this place here.
Hey, yeah, Mr. City Manager, where do we get to be here? Is this gonna be booked? Are you gonna double book?
You know, my work, my ability to work and write sentences. Here.
Yeah, why don't you put us in the bomb shelter down there, the Korean War asbestos bomb shelter down there and make it a little more comfortable? You know, that's how they sequester us, right?
We'll accommodate wherever you'd like me.
Yeah, well, huh?
Here's not.
There's a bomb shelter.
No, I'm talking about this.
Can we have this room? Can we have this room? Is there anything going on?
Can you see the calendar for this room? I can't see it.
My special drive-in just for you. They're involved.
You can zoom in and I'll just email you the questions, but we're gonna give them the worst. Anybody's not here, it's the worst questions. Remember that. Anybody's not here, volunteer.
No such thing as the worst question. Come on.
Yeah.
These are all great questions.
Well, we'll see.
They're all great. That's what I'm
Let me
saying.
double check.
Yeah,
so
so
what-
pronouns or something?
Give me that one. All right.
I'm gonna bring a couple extra ones just for dog.
You're gonna pick some special gift ones?
Just together with dog.
Screw around ones?
I'm gonna say something about facial hair or
Sure.
something like that.
Let's write it. Yeah, let's do it. They all resigned, but let's do it.
They all got ears, I was thinking, you're all in trouble, aren't
Only a mustache, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
barbers will like it in town. They say
Save money.
busy.
Save money. But anyway, so that's, and I'm hoping, I spoke with a couple councilmen today and they're happy with our performance. They were pretty surprised. I'm not saying they're surprised, they were happy with our performance. That's good.
Wonder what Greg in charge of something.
No, that's not it. I gotta, I don't know, it's my first time, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. But I do know that I'm not gonna, if I ever decide to go on like a away game somewhere, I am not gonna put Richard Tree in charge of accommodations booking. I know that. There's in some crappy Motel 6 in El Segundo or something.
I had to put you in the Motel 6 at Morro Bay. That's a nice one.
That's a nice one.
So it looks like there's an ETGSA board meeting that ends at 4, but we should be fine. Yeah, so this room would be.
So the janitors can come in and clean it all up and everything after the mess.
I'll clean.
It'll be a bunch of water.
It's a water working. I brought him for some reason. It's a sense of humor. All right, so to recap, the 3rd at 5:30 at the J. Coleman Room. And at that time, you will have had, at least convenience, I think we had really 4 we had 5, but 4 communications and kind of a little thing that I put together with the results of the last election. And if you can also find something that's kind of an exhibit for the text of a typical one, that would be good too. So we're really talking 6 documents. Because the councilman, good.
This is recorded, right?
Yes,
Can we put this on YouTube?
yes.
So it's okay, it's available to the public.
Yeah, so that's fine. So we're talking 4, and they were pretty much, they were communications from the city councilman. One that I crafted that kind of gave an insight. to the way it kind of went out, the election went on the last time we did a charter review. And then the sixth thing was kind of just something to show if, I know what the sentence formation is. It's in they want us to flesh it out more, we'll have an idea of, you know, what the arguments look like, and if they're beyond our skill set, and we probably won't want to do it.
I think with all the
Not
technology,
your skill set.
I think with all the technology that we have now since the last time this
Oh,
happened.
and AI, and then we're gonna do.
In really good shape, guys.
I came for trying it. I wrote a rebuttal to one of them, and I think I bumped out by somebody else to register, because any of those things, you're allowed to write a rebuttal to the rest of our voters for any of those things personally. And mine, but mine I think is better than the one they put in there. So you can do it on your own regardless of this.
That's awesome. That's good information now.
Well, go ahead and write something.
You never know.
Or get
Yeah.
AI to write it.
Oh, AI never writes. AI just proofs everything. Leaves it out, makes it.
AI is not that good.
Have you done it yet?
I actually I gotta admit, I did use a little bit of. But they make they just take from what other people say. So all you do is put enough different disinformation on there, and AI is just gonna copy this information. All right, so read back what we're doing if you don't mind, so I make sure we're on the same thing.
Yeah, so just as a recap, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting to the meeting of July 3rd. It'll be here at the Coleman Conference Room. And we'll go ahead and put out an agenda to that effect, along with any of the supporting documents that we have had for tonight. So as soon as we get that taken care of.
6 documents, you know, documents I want, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's 5:30 PM, right?
5:30.
No, and I guess at that point, does that leave the 17th still on, or we, at that point, at that meeting, we can decide what?
So the meetings themselves, that was your, your guys' discussion on how you wanted those meetings handled. You don't always have to go through those dates if you don't, obviously like today, we're doing something different, we're on the 3rd, but we can always still have that meeting if needed. If not,
At the 3rd, we can then, if we want to,
we can adjourn to that 17th meeting.
or we can change that 17th.
Yeah.
So
Did you copy that, Janelle?
Yeah, and I was looking at our minutes, which didn't actually have a motion to set those meeting dates. It was just information only. So that, I think you just set it as it needed.
that's a really good question, because if we're only gonna be 2 weeks,
Yeah, I don't think.
do we want to keep that meeting or
Well,
do
we
we want
could
to cancel it?
No, but I think we'll talk about it at that meeting, because the beauty is if we've got all of our stuff in there and we're ready to go, we could easily do it, because
Okay.
the next meeting, then we can give it to council and we're done. You know what I mean? And unless they give us anything else.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that on there as an agenda, thing, so that way you guys can kind of deliberate on how you guys want to handle the meeting.
I don't want to be criticized for dragging our feet, and this actually looks like, hey, we just squeezed in 2 meetings in a meeting that should.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I put that in there with the scheduled dates, so that way you guys can review them and see if that works for you guys, and then, if that is, then we can, take a formal action to accept those dates, or if you guys just wanna not do that and have, you can technically just adjourn at the end and to a different date, or whatever you guys choose to,
There's value to having some
I think that's
structure.
Well,
I'll say.
but we're winging it all. Don, you haven't said much. You got anything?
Not really. I think what you've said made sense. The only question I have is, are we only doing these items, or did some things get turned over to the city attorney like we discussed at the first meeting?
I think the city attorney, the question we had, that I recall, were more had to do with the logistics of the Brown Act and the format. I don't think we ever deferred anything with the question. I mean.
I think there was a question as far as like cleanup for the language.
Yes.
Which that wasn't, part of this.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing, and I have a duality about that. The council hasn't asked for it. So do I volunteer it or not? And there's another problem with it. It needs to be done, and like, one of the barrister over here said, is that basically we're in violation of our charter as we speak. And
Correct. That's
they
why I
and
asked.
yeah, we were in violation last time, and they tried to fix it, and that's an interesting thing, and you didn't get it, but they tried to do a cleanup on the last one, and it got voted down
By the council?
by the public.
Mm.
And so I'm almost concerned with writing another one and getting it voted down. It might go through the effort of writing it and get it voted down again, but the catch 22 is, but we're in violation of our charter, and then we'll just continue to be in violation of our charter. I don't know if there's any ramifications for it or not, but I don't know why it didn't pass. I'm suspecting because it didn't get sold very well to the people and they, if they don't understand what it says, then they just vote no.
The other alternative is what, for the city to come into compliance with this charter?
Yeah, they could by going back to at-large voting.
Yeah.
But the reason they went to the districts is because they under threat of a lawsuit. So it's
Is that still a lawsuit that's
It's-
relevant now?
It's like one of those in vogue things where it was really popular and was a law firm that went around and pushed it a bunch. I'm not sure that legally anything's changed, but I think there's a lot less organizations interested in pushing it.
So I think the council, I think there's a general sense that at large is what everybody is what's.
I don't know. It depends on how you got voted in. I mean, if they like it, and there's virtues to both, you know what I mean? I mean, some of their arguments are true and that it is cheaper to run a campaign because you only have to appeal to 1/5
So there was something in there in the.
It wasn't just that, there was other things that were wrong.
That voted for us to go at large and to go in district and people rejected district voting. That's.
No, what happens, we had to do that. We had to do that under, like I said, in fear of a
Chose
lawsuit.
to do it to comply with the lawsuit.
Right, but we never changed our charter. And then when we tried to change our charter, the people said, no,
And that language, what was that language? You had that language? When we
it's in the
sent
charter.
No, when we sent it to the people to vote for it.
That's the one I'm at, yeah.
That's gonna come in our packet.
Well, he's gonna see if he can.
To see what the people actually voted down.
Yeah, that I couldn't find exactly. Well, no, yeah, no, we have.
You have a copy of the
I have a
ballot,
copy of.
right?
But here's the thing, Tom, we're getting out of our lane. So here's the deal, if that's, I agree with you, and boy, it rubs Alex, he doesn't like that either. Now, the
What's that?
question, he doesn't like a charter that we're in violation of, being what he does for a living, it makes him uncomfortable, and I think, me too. Maybe you should contact the councilman and ask them if they would like us to add that to here, because right now I've got specific directions and that's not part of the
Have
direction.
they been made aware?
Yeah, I think they're aware of it. I don't think that they're discounting it or anything. I just think they're probably preoccupied with other
Yeah.
things. So I don't think it's a bad idea for you guys to lobby them, or if you want to. I'm staying in my lane, you know what I mean?
Well,
That's actually a good question. What do you think?
I was just
Hold
gonna
on,
dovetail
let's-
it into something where they asked for it that was close.
Real quick. I tend to agree with Greg about staying in our lane. I think if the council desired to have the cleanup language done by the attorney, I think as one of their employees, they would direct the attorney to do that outside of this review committee.
Bad idea. I like that, Clayton. Because we're not really, well, we are qualified, but I don't want to impress upon him for that. But that's not a bad idea. But again, and I'm glad you brought it up. I will bring it up. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. But if you guys want to, again, be proactive, you're very much welcome to do it. I mean,
What was the language we were tasked with as the?
No.
What's our mission, like our
Yes,
our scope?
what did the council task this committee to do?
they're
What was
gonna
the
give us
language?
their, which they've already done, their 30 suggestions. My idea is to take them and put them in a coherent format and then give them back to you. And then they're gonna say, okay, after we saw it and we're gonna,
Well, I thought Don's question was, what did the council vote that the purpose of the charter review committee is? So what language did they use when they approved our committee that's told us what we were supposed to be doing? And does that fit with the actual language of what they're saying we had to do? And I think it does, but.
I actually think it does. I don't think they were very specific. They said just review the charter for changes, but.
It's open-ended.
So
It's a broad.
So it does include, if we see something, say something.
You can.
I mean, I understand staying in our lane. I think there's a way to do both. It's like, hey, by the way, we're your arm. We work for you. We're here to serve you.
Then get me 3 votes.
As a good friend, we're gonna let you know while we're doing this and we found.
Get me 3 votes to do that and I'll be glad to do
Yeah.
it. But I'm not gonna be an activist committee.
Oh, no.
You know,
No, that's not the intent.
The
Our
intent.
intent is to help the city be in
Just know that,
compliance with
yeah.
the charter.
Hey, at the end of the day, we did our job and not, anything we do is not binding. We're just sending it to them and that's all we're
I
here.
got it. I'm going to do what they gave me and I will probably mention and ask if there's a desire. And if so, they don't, then I want them to give me direction to specifically do that. But until that point, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because my point being, if that was the discussion at the first meeting, what that. If there are things that are important to make the city be in compliance with the charter, then that's a legal issue. And that's why I was asking about the city attorney, because compliance.
I don't
is a
remember,
legal
was that a
issue.
discussion? I don't remember that. Do you?
I don't recall it, so, but the good thing is we can go back and watch it on YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you can look at the minutes.
I believe there's a signed resolution creating the committee and its purpose.
Is there?
Yeah.
Mando, is there?
Is it in the binder? I was gonna look for that.
If not, send it or something, great.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that I
You going?
may have not covered.
Yes, sir.
Fernando, do you
But there-
have access to that by any chance?
What's that?
You have a copy of
Do you
it,
have quick
Fernando?
access to that by any chance? Because I
Uh,
can't remember the exact wording.
Yeah, no, give me 1 second.
That rack tab right here in the front of the list.
Yeah, it should be, huh?
Yeah, purpose. Thank you for bringing that up, Don.
Absolutely,
Where's our name?
because I don't want to fall short of what they think they're getting if it's not lined out.
Absolutely, I agree.
I agree, and at the same time, you don't want to.
I don't want to overstep either.
Yes, thank
So
you.
that's, in order to stay in our lane, we need to know what the boundaries
What
are.
our lane is?
Yes,
Oh, good, look. It's yet,
Go ahead.
but I'm gonna share this with you. It said, should the charter be amended to make certain technical, non-substantive revisions which do not materially alter, increase, or decrease the home rule powers of the city of Porterville? And the actual thing, they said, we're gonna change this and change this and change this. And the vote was 1960 in favor, 1993 not in favor. So it failed. Just barely, and I thought I recognized it. It failed
because it
just
was
barely.
based on just a simple majority and not a,
Well, it had to do with, I think what happens is it's supposed to be non-substantive, but it was probably written a bunch of legalese. And my experience has been, if people
No,
don't understand what it
no.
says, then they say
Right.
no. That's probably what
Sure,
happened. We had a
sure.
great code writer that knew the people, man, it would probably pass.
I will transmit that information to Mr. Bailey.
Is he doing pro bono stuff? Can we get a
Well, it was he was the one.
No. Oh, that's he's talking about. Oh, man. That nerd. But anyway, but in his defense, believe it or not, of these, and they did, I got them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 8 suggested, modifications to the city charter, and of them,
Back then?
yeah, back then, this is the last time we did it. Of them, geez, count it. 2, 3. 2, 3. 4 failed.
there it
It is.
4 failed. So their odds were not that high.
So we're tasked with doing a
Yeah,
comprehensive review of the city charter.
there it is.
And
Make recommendation to the city council. So there it is. That's a pretty wide vote.
Yeah, it's a freeway.
Why the lane
But
is
it also does state that it has to be voted on by the citizens.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they'll do it.
read it again.
Yeah.
Where's that pertinent paragraph?
the second whereas
It's gonna
paragraph.
be,
Second one, third
I'm
one.
sorry, no, the first one there.
Let me back up, will you, please?
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
that's just the where.
yeah, this is,
Third one. That was the name.
Yeah. there.
Do we want to get a interpretation from the council what that means?
I think it's pretty clear what it means.
I don't know.
They gave you a list, we do the list, and if we see things, we say something.
Yeah.
And that's it, and it's on them to act, and that's
Correct.
it.
All we can do is
That's all we do.
recommend.
That's my,
Alex, what do you think?
No, I would.
Right.
I mean, if they want to add stuff in and it gets voted down, it gets voted down.
Okay, you're doing the extra work then.
What's the extra work with?
Whatever extra work you want to put in there.
There's no extra, only extra work is, hey, city council, we found that. You gotta figure out this at-large thing, that's it.
We're not doing today, on the third, we can discuss how we want to divide up the charter for each of us to review a section and with the help of Fernando, of course, look at what.
I don't think that was what we did.
No, that's.
No, that's the, but if we're going to do the comprehensive review, that's
fair.
what we're tasked to do, then we would need his help to know what changes have been made that make us in violation of the current charter as it stands.
Because we don't know what ordinances exist versus
Correct.
what's
I mean,
here.
that's a lot of footwork for sure, so it really needs to be broken down.
Should I
It's like,
ask
yeah.
for direction from the council? Alex,
On what? It says comprehend, I would have gone, not just the whereas, but into now it's therefore resolved. I'd look under there to see if they change away from what their points were.
let me see.
Is it fair to go into the next meeting and get what the council has suggested that we look over and review?
Mhm.
And we get 5 each and we go through those and we make our recommendations and we hand those back to the council and make sure that we're all on the same page and we're doing.
Mhm.
But we stay basic and we stay thorough.
Yeah, but the discussion here is whether we should do things, we should look at things they haven't given us. Now, the interpretation from that is that, or the implication is if we're only giving them if we're only looking at what they're giving us, then we're not doing a comprehensive review, which is in violation of what we're supposed to be doing. The word is what becomes comprehensive. I mean, are we, what part, like I said, do we do the entire charter or just the governmental section of the charter or what?
Or do we make a blanket recommendation that they hire an outside consultant to review it for compliance?
There you go.
Something like that.
There you go.
And then you do the 30 that they want, but we safeguard ourselves so that if there is these
Hey,
problems.
we had somebody look at this and they didn't find this.
Well, no, I think what you're saying is you add a note to it that says after review of our mission statement, it asks for a comprehensive review. There's been a number of deficiencies found. Perhaps the council would like to consider hiring outside counsel to review this because this really cannot.
For compliance, because you have to understand what the ordinance are that are passed to know comprehensively.
Will you help me write that?
Yes.
Okay. And then at that point, if you guys still want to get, listen, I'm not telling you can't do
That
anything.
covers it.
No, I got
That
it.
covers it, yeah.
But if you guys want to try to do more, you're very much
Some
welcome.
activism stuff. I'm not trying to do that, right?
I don't care.
I'm trying to stay in our lane, buddy.
I got it. I'm trying to say it now. If they would like us to then review it,
Yeah.
I'm feeling comfortable even reviewing because again, I'm not a lawyer. You know what I mean? I mean, I could say, well, this obviously,
But that's where his suggestion makes good sense.
Because then it's
For sure.
outside, because it's something somebody should be paid to do, because
Yes.
if you want somebody whose suggestion, that they gotta put themselves on the line for that too, if they're saying this is a
Right.
conflict.
Right, I like that. I like that because again, like I'm saying, we're not putting ourselves on the hook. We're not volunteering for anything and we're not stepping on anybody's toes. Because what I don't want to get is too ambitious and then it looks like we're being political and messing with.
No, there's no.
We just want the city's charter to be in compliance. That's the
Concerned
goal.
citizens who want our city to be,
Yes,
Well, whoever needs to write it next time needs to write it somewhere where it's user friendly. Because I think there's that's, and of the 4 that didn't pass, I think of the 8, there was one of them that I was confused when I read and I'm listening to that. And I think that was probably a deficiency in the way they were written.
Well, and all I know is that I think the review committee gave some recommendations, some were voted down by the council, some weren't. And then I'm not sure how they went from that stage to the ballot.
Yeah, well, that's my point. And because the sentence is the easy part.
you have that information, was it 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
He's trying to see if he can find it.
The notes, the
Oh, no, it's like,
recommendations?
it's like 12 years ago. What was it? 2014, right?
2014, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 11 years ago. If I could just find an old ballot, and if he can't find one, I'm just gonna go to the registrar of voters and ask, give me a, I know they have one in their historical files, just give me a paper copy. I'll make copies of, and it'll have the language in it. And I mean, again, we're starting to get above it. It's like we could try to dissect, because some of the things that are in there actually were in the last ballot, you know, in a different form, as like Alex said, in a different language, and they didn't pass. So if they're gonna, and that was kind of an issue, if we're gonna put them on the new ballot, say then they're narrowed down to the 5 or 6, and 2 of them were on the last ballot and they didn't pass, you know, you really need to figure out, otherwise you're just gonna
We'll
not
just
pass
look at
again.
history and say, let's write a different.
Yeah, well, what they do that
Yeah.
turn people off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Great, yeah, I agree. I think
Okay with that?
we're all. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
so
packet
part
will
of
come
the,
out.
part of the documentation that'll be sent out, just making sure that we're all on the same page now. I can get it out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, we're adjourning to a new date and time, so I'm not within that same constraint of having a, you know, agenda is a certain way or whatever.
No, it's gonna be the same thing
It's
over.
gonna be the same thing over again, with the documentation that was gonna be provided tonight. And then I'll give that to you all, and then I don't know, it might answer some questions that you already are asking right now. But I'd rather, whenever we do agenda that new meeting, we send everything all at once, so that way everybody gets it. And if there is something missing, maybe we can look more into it and see this one.
Sounds
You
good.
satisfied? I'm gonna go back, can you give me up to the guys?
Sounds good.
Mr. O'Sullivan, what do you think about this raucous meeting?
Instead of making the long journey to the voters registrar office, I would assume City of Porterville Archives has the council minutes where all of those were created.
Oh, adopted, that's a good idea, I never thought about that. Is that how it works, Fernando? Did we adopt them as an ordinance before we send to the registrar of voters?
I believe they were done by a resolution.
Okay,
But like I said, the documentation that I have to give to you all should answer a lot of those questions. So
But you don't have the verbatim thing that went on the ballot.
so I think, like I said, this is from what I am looking at right here. These are the measures that were submitted by the voters to the registrar of voters, to the county elections office, and just.
You can also do it by email, because a Freedom of Information Act request can be made by email. And they're usually pretty good about just sending it to.
And this is what I sent you.
That's what was.
But is there no, and I'll have to go on my own ballots. Is there no like a ballot argument for and against? Is this all that we submitted to voter?
From what I looked for, that's.
Have you seen this, Alex? How frequent it is. I can't believe that anybody would vote for
Is that
you.
the packet we're supposed to get tonight?
No, we don't know if we can find that. Mr. O'Sullivan, that's why I was thinking about going to register our voters, because apparently we can't find it in our archive. And I was just gonna go try and see if they had one over there because it go to the horse's mouth, you know what I'm saying?
Thanks for your efforts.
And I don't know, we'll see. Because I'm kind of curious because
How you doing?
some of the stuff.
Nice to hear with you.
Okay,
See what's going on here.
all right, enjoy it. Anyway,
Member of the public.
member of the public, yeah, have a comment. Anyway, so my point is, I can't believe that they would expect, should we do non-substantive
I'll
change?
have to
No
look.
wonder it didn't pass, you know?
Let me look more into it, and then I'll get that information.
If the entire thing was, hey, should we do these non-substantive states that we're not gonna tell you about, do you wanna vote for them? No, I wouldn't have voted for them either. You know what I mean? How do I know?
It just sounds like that sounds like stuff later.
It's one sentence. It just sounds like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You know, this is your end user agreement. Don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about what it says. Just sign it. Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable. No wonder if that's all that they did to try to promote this item, then I can see why it failed.
So June 3rd or July 3rd,
Mhm.
we'll get the packet as soon as tomorrow. And then we're gonna go from there.
Yeah, Mr. O'Sullivan, you got any more questions, sir?
No, that's all I had. Thanks.
Clayton, you got any more questions, buddy?
No, I'm good with everything that's been discussed so far.
And Ty, you have something?
No,
We're good?
I think we're great.
We're good with it.
Great job.
Scott? And I want to wait for Alex to look at that before he,
No, it's interesting which ones pass and which ones fail.
isn't that a weird, I thought the same, then when you're gonna get it next week,
That's fine.
it makes, I can see a little bit of, but there's some highly technical ones that passed. And then there's some ones that seem pretty self-explanatory that didn't pass, so I don't know, but that's the nature of, that's why they wanted us to get it done early, because it needs to be sold. You know what I mean? If you're really passionate about it and it needs to be explained to people, so you don't.
People educated.
Well, it's almost like the people were voting, like, I don't want to say yes to everything.
Like when you're doing
You do the test, you don't know what you're doing?
Yeah, so you just
A, B,
design.
A, B, C, A, C, D. That you're doing great?
No, I was so surprised. I stumbled onto those. I forget where I got them. I think Fernando sent it to me. And
Awesome.
then I cross-referenced them with the voter data, and I was shocked, you know, the same thing I was like, why didn't this one pass? This is a no-brainer, which really enforced how, and I don't know if this is gonna happen, but once this is over, if it needs to be sold, who better to explain it to the public than this committee? And I'm hoping that if they want to do some meetings or something, I would enjoy to go to the meetings and try to explain to the people our process. I don't know if they're gonna want us to do that or not, and that's really, again, I'm staying in my lane until I get told. I think there's anything else that I haven't asked you, Alex, you good? All right, well, I guess we're gonna adjourn it then, right? Anybody got any other comments before we adjourn?
My only question is, when we do have members of the public, do we create space for them to participate, I mean, to like?
Usually you have what's called if you format it, you have an oral communications.
We usually have that during the first beginning of the.
You start off with a time for public comment, you have the 3 minutes.
It's not, I don't notice that, that's the.
That was the beginning portion of it.
Okay.
So they want to come in, and I'm pretty liberal, as long as they don't get to belabor things. I'm pretty liberal, you know,
As long as we have it before the scheduled matters, at least once, you're fine.
well, that's the,
You could
but
also have, technically, you could also add another one if you want to, but that's up to the
that's
committee.
at the end.
But on each agenda item. You can open.
Or, yeah, or you can do
I was
that.
just gonna say, then that's what I do. If it's a germane question, and if it's not just someone just grandstanding, then I don't have a problem.
Are you guys okay with, allowing some time in case our guest here wants to?
Well, we already adjourned, but I can open it back up.
No, well, my bad, I came late. I just want to see what's going on, the new rules and laws coming into Porterville.
Well, we're talking, about when we get done, we're always looking for guys who want to participate.
Oh.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, anything else, Taha?
I'm done, man. I'm done.
Play off the record.
Then we're
Alright,
off.
so are we adjourning?
Yeah, we're gonna adjourn.
Okay, so 6:25 PM, we're gonna go.
Okay, so what was that? Was that 55 minutes? Because if
For a non-meeting.
Thank you, Tom, for coming in. Thank you on your vacation.
July.
Absolutely. Talk to you guys on the 3rd.